Today in class, we looked at another After Effects project, and here's pretty much the results, although I added a few things here. Here's a file that represents what we covered. I'm just going to let this play out, turn on the looping, and what we're looking at here is a short little After Effects. I had a video, actually I think it was just my phone. I recorded out the window of a hotel I was staying in, and just showing a way that we could envision a system that runs, on the smart glass of a hotel room. And this is all done in After Effects. And I want to show today, give or create this video so that you can sort of see a step-by-step the process for creating it. The steps that we use here are things that you've already been introduced to for your dashboard project, but they'll also be things that we'll be using in the next After Effects project, which is closer to this one, creating a user interface. So I'm going to go through the steps that it took to build this. I'm not going to go through every step, but I will give you enough that you can exactly see how this was created. All right, so we're going to get started. I'm going to quit out of this one and launch After Effects. So here I am in After Effects. On Moodle, there is a link for downloading the source video that I was looking at. So what I'm going to do here is just go ahead and import that video. So from the File menu, choose File, Import File. Brings up my dialog, and in this case, I put that video here in my Downloads directory, and I'll hit Open. So here I have a blank project with one file inside of it. Up here you'll note some things: the name of the file, the size of the file, the frame rate, it's at 30 frames per second, the length of time, it uses millions of colors, it's formatted for H.264, and it has a mono audio channel, and we can see the waveform. All of this is included whenever we select an item in the project window, and we see this little thumbnail for it and the content. So one other big component about this is that we need a composition, and instead of using the new composition which we did before, this time I'm going to do something a little different. Drag it from the project window directly to this composition icon here. When you do that, a new composition will be created and your content will be dumped into that composition. So here we have the composition open up. The only thing I don't like about this is the composition has the same name as my file. Right, so I'm going to make a small adjustment here. Going to change my composition settings, and instead of this being the same name, I'll call it Window Menu System. I'll leave everything else the same, but you'll notice that the size of my composition is equal to the height and width of the actual video itself, as well as the length of time. We're going to change this, but for right now, we'll leave it right here. I'll hit OK. All right, so right now we have the composition inside, and if I hit play, we'll see the whole thing here. I'm going to stop it. One of the first things I'm going to do is turn off the audio. That's this button right here. We don't need the audio for this clip. It's actually the sound of the television that was on in the hotel room. I'm going to turn the audio off and then go ahead and hit play again on the preview, and we'll see there's a whole bunch of stuff here and content. I did a number of things on the screen, a number of clicks. I actually use this for a different project, but it's source material that we can use here. So what we are going to do is we want to identify where in time we want the user to click the screen, or I want to show that the screen click happened, and then have our interaction happen. And for us, it's going to be right here at about this 8-second point. So if you notice here at 8 seconds, the finger comes up, touch the screen. We're going to use that touch there. So what I'll do is I'll go back here to 8 seconds. I don't want to use this entire footage. I want to trim it. And the trim happens right here. If you look closely where my cursor is, if I click here, I'm moving the video content. Okay, I'll undo that. But if I click my cursor here, the cursor itself changes to arrows left and right. And now I'm trimming my content to be just that. Now here, I see nothing, and then at this point I get exactly that 8-second mark and moving forward. That's the clip we really want. So now that we have that trimmed, I'm actually going to grab it and drag it all the way back to the beginning. If you add the shift key, it will snap when it gets to the beginning. Right? So there's a shift key and it snaps right in. So now our composition, instead of being 15 seconds long, it's a little over 7, almost 7.5 frames long. And that's all we need. So now I will go to, there's one keystroke I want to show you. When you have an item selected here in the composition window or in the timeline, if I hit the I key, it jumps to the beginning of the clip. If I hit the O key, it jumps to the end of the clip. That stands for the input of the frame of the clip and the output of the frame, the out frame. In and out, I and O. All right, so when I go to the out point, I'll see that this is 7 seconds and 11 frames long. I'll go back to my composition window, and instead of this value, we will set it to be 0711. All right, there we go.